Hi everyone! In this video, we will factor a polynomial completely. Factor d squared plus 12d plus 32. The very first thing we always look for is a greatest common factor. This helps us to make all of the terms smaller if we can factor something out that's in common with all of the terms. In this case, there isn't anything in common that will go into d squared, 12d, and 32, so we don't have a greatest common factor. So the next thing we look for is how many terms do we have? In this case, we have 3 terms, so we know we won't be factoring by grouping yet, and we can see that the coefficient out in front is a 1. So we can go ahead and take C, 32, and we can find all of the factors that give us 32, starting with 1 and 32, and then we move up the numbers 2 and 16. 3 will not go into 32. 4 will. 4 times 8. 5 will not go into 32, and neither will 6 nor 7. And so we're back at 8, which means we would be going up the other side of our factors, and so we know we're done. Now we're going to look at the signs of our trinomial. Here we have a positive. That tells me that the signs will be the same. Same signs for the factors over here. So they will either both be positive or they will both be negative. And looking at our first sign tells us what that will be. And because it's positive, this tells us that all of the signs will be positive. So we will have positive 1 and positive 32 that multiply together to give us 32. Positive 2 and positive 16 multiply together to give us positive 32. And positive 4 and positive 8 multiplied together give us 32. And now we're going to find a combination of those that will give us our middle term of 12. If I add positive 1 and positive 32, we get positive 33. So we know that positive 1 and positive 32 are not the factors we're looking for. Let's go ahead and add our next ones. Positive 2 plus positive 16 gives us positive 18, and that does not match our middle term. So let's move to our last one. Positive 8 plus positive 4 is positive 12. That means that we have now found our factors that we can replace our middle term with. Replacing it, we get d squared, and we'll take our 4 and our 8, replacing the 12, 4, and don't forget the variable d, plus 8, again, don't forget the variable d, because we're replacing this term here, and we'll finish it up with our plus 32. Now that we've replaced our middle term, we have 4 factors, and so we can factor by grouping. This means that we group the first 2 and the last 2, and again, in this case, we're looking for the greatest common factor like we did at the beginning. The first 2 terms have a factor of d in common, so we can factor out a d, which leaves us d plus 4, and the next 2 have a common factor of 8, so I can take a positive 8 out of both of those terms, leaving us with d plus 4. Now we have 2 larger terms, these big large terms here, and we're looking for, yet again, the greatest common factor. And in this case, the greatest common factor is the binomial d plus 4. So we'll factor out d plus 4 from both terms, and factoring it out leaves us with d plus 8 for the other 2 terms for our second binomial, so we get d plus 8. We've now factored our polynomial completely, and we're all done.